Now that you understand what is hypnosis and how it can be induced, let's quickly talk about NLP. NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. If you are a trainer, I'm sure you've heard of this term somewhere or the other. You may have heard it from people who completely swear by it. You may have heard it from people who completely reject the idea. But it's unlikely that you have not come across this term earlier. Now, what is NLP and why is there so much of controversy around it? So, NLP is considered to be a model of human behavior. It is based on the idea that if one person can do something, and if you can observe what they have done and replicate exactly what they have done, you will get the exact same results that they are getting. Now, this actually makes sense, doesn't it? That if two people do the exact same set of things under the same set of circumstances, they will get the same outcome. So there's really no controversy that should be there around this. The problem though is when people talk about replicating a behavior to get the same outcome, what do we mean by behavior? Because there are multiple aspects of that behavior. One is the external observable behavior, which if you have a keen sense of observation, if you have sensory acuity, then you will be able to observe. But if you don't have that sense of keen observation, then you may miss out on certain very important observable cues. Second is that a part of that strategy is what is happening in the person's mind, and what's happening in their mind itself is divided in two parts. It can be what they are consciously aware of, what decisions they are making, and it can also be all those automatic unconscious calculations that are happening in the back end. Calculations which are eventually helping the person to make the decision and follow a strategy in a particular way to get the outcome that they are getting. Plus, the kind of feelings, the state that the person was in also influences the effectiveness with which they're applying that behavior, they're applying that strategy, which then means that unless I'm able to observe the behavior, understand what's happening in the conscious mind of a person, and have a way to be able to understand what's happening in the unconscious of that person so that I can learn it, understand it, and change my behavior in a way in which all those thoughts become naturally a part of my life, all those behaviors become naturally a part of my life, in a way in which that I don't have to force it. I'm able to do it as naturally as the other person was doing. It all sounds brilliant, right? But well, it's not as easy as it sounds, right? Now that's where NLP came in, because the founders of NLP, which is Bandler and Grinder, recognized the challenge, and they started focusing on creating a modality which will encompass all of these things, which will focus on helping you develop the sensory awareness that you need. It will help you learn the right set of questioning tools to be able to ask the right questions to understand what's happening in a person's conscious mind. They also helped people understand how to ask questions to people, how to run certain processes with people, so that you're able to understand what is happening unconsciously in a person's system. And then not just this, they also created a set of techniques which you could use with yourself to be able to inculcate those thoughts, those emotions, those behaviors into your being, so that you're able to do it as naturally as those people were doing. Now this is remarkable. This is remarkable because you could literally work with a person and mimic the success that they were getting, provided they obviously are willing to support you so that you can understand all of these things from them. And even there, Bandler and Grinder came up with this remarkable idea of being able to incorporate language patterns from hypnosis into its field, whereby they would be able to influence people's unconscious mind to be able to make them realize what they were asking for would benefit the other person also, which then meant that the person was also interested in listening to you, engaging with you, and helping you learn what they were able to do so effortlessly. Well, now if you could develop this skill, if you could develop the ability to be able to understand people, to be able to ask the right questions, to be able to understand what's happening in their unconscious, and to actually be able to change your unconscious thoughts, feelings, emotions, and behaviors, what all would you be able to do? Something worth thinking.